all, this is Asia Gisalva from the College of Education. Today we're gonna discuss the diversity of nations. And what are those countries? And one of these is the Philippines, United States of America, Italy, Nigeria, and New Zealand. We will discuss the different historical background of those countries, its resources, the ethnicity and religion, the external dependency, the importance of public and private sector, and even the industrial structure of those countries. Now let's start and join me exploring these countries. The Philippines takes its name from Philip II, who was a king of Spain during the Spanish colonization of the islands in the 16th century. Because it was under Spanish rule for 330 years and under U.S. tutelage for a further 48 years, the Philippines has many cultural affinities with the West. With continued recovery and reform efforts, the country is getting back on track on its way from a lower middle income country with a gross national income per capita of $3,430 in 2020 to an upper middle income country per capita income range of $4,096 to $12,695 in the short term. Most of the country's metallic minerals, including gold, iron, ore, lead, zinc, chromite, and copper, are drawn from major deposits on the islands of Luzon and Mindanao. Smaller deposits of silver, nickel, mercury, cadmium, and manganese occur in several other locations. The Philippines is rich in natural resources. Its fertile land produces a variety of crops such as coconut, copra, banana, pineapples, sugar, gum, and rubber. Some of these agricultural crops are raised for export. Rice, which is the staple food of Filipinos, is produced largely in the central plains of Luzon. The largest religion in the Philippines, at least 88% of the population is Christian, about 79% belong to the Catholic Church, with about 9% to Protestantism, Orthodoxy, and Independent Catholicism and other denominations such as Iglesia Filipina Independiente, Iglesia ni Cristo, Jehovah's Witnesses, Seventh-day Adventist Church, Apostolic Catholic Church, and more. Officially, the Philippines is a secular nation with a constitution guaranteeing separation of church and state and requiring the government to respect all religious beliefs equally. The majority of the people in the Philippines are of Austronesian descent who migrated from Taiwan during the Iron Age. They are called ethnic Filipinos. The largest Filipino ethnic groups include the Tagalog, Cebuano, Ilocano, Bicolano, Kapampangan, Maranao, Maguindanao, and Tausug. The industrial sector has made a fair and sustained contribution to the GDP of the Philippines over the years, reaching almost 45% during the 1980s and dropping to less than 28% in 2021. This sector still employs nearly one-fifth of the country's workforce. The government of the Philippines is making efforts to attract foreign direct investment in the country by improving its infrastructure. The country has developed a number of economic zones, which have attracted many foreign companies. There are reports that predict some companies are set to relocate their production from China, their traditional base, to the Philippines and neighboring countries in Southeast Asia. These measures will help sustain the growth of the industrial sector in the years to come. The major industries of the Philippines include manufacturing and agribusiness. Within manufacturing, mining, and mineral processing, pharmaceuticals, shipbuilding, electronics, and semiconductors are the focus areas. The Philippines is one of the most attractive pharmaceutical markets in the Asia Pacific region. The private sector is the driver of growth in most ASEAN economies. It is therefore expected to play a significant role in the process of economic integration in ASEAN. In the Philippines, the private sector has dominated the economy, contributing about 95% of GDP, but it has not lived up to its potential. For the public sector in the Philippines, they are all persons employed by public authorities, the civil servants employed in the national government agencies, and its attached agencies, bureaus, local government units, and government-owned and controlled corporations. These public sectors provide essential goods and services such as public transit, defense agencies, healthcare, and public education. In addition to this, the public sector in the Philippines also plays an important role in fostering economic growth and stability. The Philippines' high dependency on the external environment and its long-standing constraints to growth, lack of adequate infrastructure, low investment, high unemployment, and immigration rates, and government weakness may still constrain growth. In 1776 in Philadelphia, the Second Continental Congress declared the independence of the colonies as the United States. Led by General George Washington, it won the Revolutionary War. The Peace Treaty of 1783 established the borders of the new sovereign state. Household income distribution in the U.S. visualized as 100 homes. Income inequality and wealth disparity have been frequent topics of conversation even before the pandemic upended the economy. Now, rising inflation and interest rates and a possible recession on the horizon are bringing these societal divides into sharp focus. American households vary widely on their respective incomes. The largest cluster of homes, representing nearly 20% of all American households, are in $25,000 to $49,900 income bracket. 18 of the households are in the lowest income bracket. People in this category have a wide variety of jobs, but personal care aides, cashiers, food, and beverage positions are some of the most common. As a point of reference, the poverty line for a family of 4 currently sits at $26,496. On the flip side, in this small community of 100 houses, 33 earn 6 figures and typically have at least one family member in a corporate or medical role. The middle class in America has shrunk significantly in the past 50 years, going from 61% of adults being middle income in 1971 to 50% in 2021. Here's a look at the economic class breakdowns by annual household income based on households with 3 people. Upper class with $156,000, middle class for $52,000 to $156,000, and for the lower class, $52,000. Although these definitions and conditions don't align exactly with the buckets we use in the main house's visualization, they come pretty close. In the neighborhood of 100 homes, 38 homes could be considered low income, while 18 are high income. Meanwhile, sitting in the 50,000 to 149,000 US dollars, middle range of household income are 44 homes. Median household income decreased 2.9% to 67,000 US dollars between 2019 and 2020, the first decrease since 2014. Additionally, the number of people who work full-time jobs year-round decreased by around 13.7 million. That being said, when looking at the longer term trend, the median income for those considered middle class has jumped by 50% over the last 5 decades. The US has abundant supplies of coal, copper, lead, iron, natural gas, timber, and uranium. 18% of the land in the US is arable land. The US is a major exporter of technology, consumer of goods, information systems, and foodstuffs. The ethnicities have in the US are Americans, Asian Americans, white people, African Americans, white Americans, black people, Hispanic and Latino Americans, mixed, and Jewish people. They also have Irish, Scottish, Pacific Islander, Vietnamese people, Russian people, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, and the likes. There are a lot of religions have in the United States, and these are Protestantism, which have 26%, Catholicism with 21%, Just Christian with 20%, Mormonism with 2%, Unitarianism with 1%, Judaism with 2%, Buddhism with 2%, and something else and many more are 2%. Services sector, which employs the most number of people, with the professional and businesses service sector providing employment to nearly 17.4 million, closely followed by healthcare and social assistance, which employs just over 17 million people in the US. Economies of countries, including the US, are divided between the public and private sectors for the purpose of considering economic activity and each contribution to the domestic production. In the US, there are several agencies that track and report the activity of both the public and private sectors. For example, the Bureau of Labor Statistics reports on market activity, working conditions, and price changes in the economy, whereas the U.S. Census Bureau provides data about nation's people and the economy. But how private sector works in the US? The private sector is made up of household, businesses, and organizations spanning jobs in a variety of fields such as retail, construction, and manufacturing. This sector includes both public and private companies such as Walmart and Amazon to small mom-and-pop operations. And how about public sector works in the US? The public sector references all government-owned or government-affiliated organizations, including federal government, states, and localities. Public sector organizations focus on services to the public as a whole, including education, security, safety, welfare, the legal system, natural resources, public transportation, infrastructure, food security, social housing, and health services. The area began to come under British control in 1861 and was made a British colony in 1914. Nigeria gained independence in 1960 and became a republic in 1963. Ethnic strife soon led to military coups, and military groups ruled the country from 1966 to 1979 and from 1983 to 1999. In total, the national gross income amounted to $2,080 in 2021. Gross national income per capita is the total amount of money received by a country divided by the mid-year population. Nigeria is divided roughly in half between Muslims, who live mostly in the north, and Christians, who live mostly in the south. Indigenous religions, such as those native to the Igbo and Yoruba ethnicities, are in the minority. The economy of Nigeria is changing, and it is shifting from mainly primary-based economy, reliant on farming and extractive industries such as oil and gas, to one which making more money or GDP from manufacturing, the secondary industries, and more services in the tertiary sector. In the past, Nigeria has been largely dependent on other countries for its consumption needs. However, with the rise of technology, Nigeria is now beginning to produce its own goods and services. This change is having a positive impact on the Nigerian economy, as well as its relations with other countries. Improvement ensuring value for many. They have helped shape government policies on public sector modernization, and they have well versed in the kinds of best practices that make a difference. New Zealand was the largest country in Polynesia when it was annexed by Great Britain in 1840. Thereafter, it was successively a crown colony, a self-governing colony in 1856, and a dominion in 1907. The median income in New Zealand is just under New Zealand dollar 29.66 per hour as of February 2023, or New Zealand dollar 61,692.80 cents per annum based on a 40-hour week. There is also minimum wage in New Zealand under which you cannot be paid legally. As the economic performance in 2021, the GDP of New Zealand in total is 249.89 cents US dollars and 48,781.03 cents US dollars New Zealand per capita. Compared with most other countries with a similar land area and population, New Zealand is relatively well endowed with natural mineral resources such as gold, coal, oil, gas, iron sand, limestone, clay, zeolite, sand, and construction aggregate. New Zealand is nominally Christian, with Anglican, Roman Catholic, and Presbyterian denominations being the largest. Other Protestant sects and Maori adaptations of Christianity constitute the remainder of the Christian population. For the ethnicity, there are six major ethnic groups in New Zealand: European, Maori, Pacific peoples, Asian, Mala, or Middle Eastern, Latin American, African, and other ethnicity. Primary industries in New Zealand are a broad mix of small businesses and larger enterprises who produce, process, and move more goods around New Zealand and export to more countries across the globe than ever before. New Zealand primary industries earn billions of dollars each year from exports. Primary industries of importance to New Zealand include agriculture, dairy and meat and wool, forestry, horticulture, including viticulture, seafood, which includes aquaculture and fishing. People rely on primary industries, and these industries are affected by some of the world's most pressing problems, such as biosecurity risk, animal welfare, food safety, and the effects of climate change. People working in primary industries help feed, shelter, and clothe the world. Primary industries have always been important to New Zealand. New Zealand's primary industries generate over $36 billion a year in exports. New Zealand is an independent and sovereign state. It is one Antarctic territorial claim, one dependent territory, and two associated states. The realm of New Zealand encompasses the three autonomous jurisdictions of New Zealand, the Cook Islands, and Niue. The public service supports the government to implement its policies and deliver services for New Zealanders. United by a spirit of service, public servants work every day to achieve better outcomes for people in New Zealand. Most private companies in New Zealand are small and medium-sized enterprises. As private companies have their shares owned within a private group, detailed information, especially financial information, for these companies is usually not available to the public. The formation of the modern Italian state began in 1861 with the unification of the most of the peninsula under the House of Savoy into the Kingdom of Italy. Italy incorporated Venetia and the former Papal States by 1871 following the Franco-Prussian War in 1870.
Most popular travel destinations for a number of reasons that include art treasures, trendy fashion, stunning landscapes, passionate people, and top-class cuisine. Italy offers so much to see and do that it would take a lifetime to explore. Here's a look at the best places to visit in Italy. the Campania region in southern Italy. The city of Naples offers a treasure trove of artworks and historic sites, as well as a vibrant atmosphere of shops, restaurants, and nightlife venues. Many favorite Italian foods originated from here, such as pizza, spaghetti, and parmigiana. These dishes are taken seriously in Naples and usually feature fresh, locally grown ingredients. As it is nearby famous sites like the Bay of Naples and Pompeii, Naples presents an ideal base to stay while exploring the area.
The average median household income was $40,094 in 2021. Italy's median household income hit $35,189 in 2021, an increase of 1% over the previous year. Between 2010 and 2021, Italy's median household income decreased by 1.9%. Italy has a variety of natural resources such as coal, zinc, marble, barite, asbestos, mercury, feldspar, pyrite, natural gas, and crude oil reserves. The Italian government has complete control of its mineral industry. The major religion in Italy is Roman Catholicism. This is not surprising as Vatican City, located in the heart of Rome, is the hub of Roman Catholicism and where the Pope resides. Roman Catholics and other Christians make up 80% of the population, though only one-third of those are practicing Catholics. The major ethnic group in Italy is the Italians, who account for 95%, above 60 million of the total population of Italy. The remaining 5% of the population consists of ethnicities like Albanians, Romanians, Ukrainians, and other Europeans, Africans, and several other minorities. Italy has a diversified industrial economy, which is divided into a developed industrial north, dominated by private companies, and a less developed, highly subsidized agricultural south, where unemployment is high. Italy is a large manufacturer and exporter of a significant variety of products. Its products include machinery, vehicles, pharmaceuticals, furniture, food, and clothing. Italy has therefore a significant trade surplus. Raising the effectiveness of Italy's public sector is more urgent than ever. It will be key to revive investment and productivity and improve access to quality public services for the most vulnerable. The quality of public goods and services is variable, weakening Italy's resilience to shocks like the COVID-19 crisis and the ability to secure a more sustained and inclusive recovery. Excessive regulations and their onerous enforcement add to businesses' operating costs. Trust in public institutions and public service delivery is one of the lowest across OECD countries. In the coming years, Italy will have a unique opportunity to improve the effectiveness of its public sector. Through the Recovery and Resilience Plan, the renewal of the public sector workforce, and the potential of technological innovations. It is indeed that diversity of nations teaches us that despite our differences in caste, creed, or race, these differences in nations cannot keep us apart, and we must remain eternally united to better our country.